For many Kiwis that live in smaller towns or areas of isolated places, besides driving, flying is their only option. However, many regions are now in brace position as Air New Zealand cuts more flights and capacity on routes. The smaller regional airlines are also facing tough times. Sounds Air have been flying for over 30 years and have 9 destinations, soon to be 8. They will be stopping their Wellington to Westport route from the end of the year. And the company's CEO, Andrew Crawford, joins me now. Andrew, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How are you, Leah?
I'm good. Did I get that right? 9, soon to be 8?
Yeah,
Is it 9?
9 soon to be 8, correct.
Can you tell us where you do go?
Wellington to Taupo, Nelson, Blenheim and Picton, Blenheim to Kapiti, Kapiti to Nelson, Blenheim to Christchurch and Christchurch to Wanaka, and Wellington to Westport. But Wellington to Westport, as you said, is the one that's going to stop on New Year's Eve.
And what's the mix of travellers that you have on these destinations? Are they all holiday makers? Are they workers? What's the kind of breakdown?
Holiday makers. I mean, Picton is a lot of holiday and people going to the Sounds, but the breakdown is business and healthcare, education. Healthcare is a big one for us. I think, as I said on an interview the other day, that the Nelson Marlborough District Health Board is our biggest agent.
Wow.
We fly a lot of people from Blenheim to Wellington, Nelson to Wellington, Blenheim to Christchurch for treatment. So this is a critical service in these regions.
Yeah.
We took over a lot of these regions when Air New Zealand pulled out back in 2015.
What Andrew has made it so difficult that you've had to pull the pin on this destination?
Yeah, there's a myriad of things that have happened since COVID, but fuel, supply chain. We've got 2 planes grounded at the moment with no known delivery for parts, and there's nothing else you can do because they're only made by the aircraft manufacturer.
Right.
Wages have gone up a lot. Maintenance costs, the dollar. Landing fees, and one of the big ones just recently has been engines. That our engine manufacturer has advised that our engines are going up 70%.
70. Oh my gosh.
So just to put that in context, for one aeroplane, last year we paid $950,000 for an engine. Well, that's soon to be 70% dearer.
Oh my God. Jesus,
1.5 million. And it's a monopoly. There's nothing you can do. You just go, okay. Well,
you've just got to suck it up.
Cope with this?
Well, you can't.
Well, yes, or stop.
Yeah. Yeah. So for our listeners, just to make it clear, Sounds Air does not receive government funding. And the Regional Development Minister, Shane Jones, has said there might be a need for a dedicated fund to help airlines survive. But you have twice applied, haven't you, for funding? Have you not?
Yes, correct. We got encouraged to apply for the Provincial Growth Fund under the Labor government, and that was 11 months of our life. And we're advised didn't meet the criteria. I'm not sure what, I forget what it was, but Finance Minister Robertson at the time had the casting vote. And then just recently, Minister Jones encouraged us to apply for the Regional Infrastructure Fund, regional infrastructure.
Yep.
That sounds like right in the wheelhouse, just what they want to do.
Yeah.
And once again, don't know why, but hasn't been approved. So, it's frustrating, and you spend a lot of time waiting for decisions to be made. A lot of time.
Are they, Andrew? Did they give you the reasons that apparently you weren't fitting the criteria?
No. Well, I think they're looking to be building roads, bridges, and dams rather than soft infrastructure like ours, if you will. But if we don't have the connectivity to these regions, there's not much point having infrastructure at the other end.
Good point. Now, from what I saw or read as well, there was at least 30 countries around the world that have stepped in to support their regional airlines. So this must be very frustrating. Do you think then in New Zealand, or our government, we don't see regional flights as important?
It's hard to know. Yeah, you're right. I mean, you only have to look to Australia. They have the Flying Doctor Service, which is just a regional, that's supported by the government. They also have other essentially connectivity services that go to far-flung places in Australia, because it's just not viable when you're flying 9 and 12-seat aircraft with the costs we were just talking about, to spread those costs over such a small footprint. And the smallest aircraft Air New Zealand fly now are 80 seats, and there's nothing in the world built in between what we're flying and what Air New Zealand's flying. And this has nothing to do with Air New Zealand. They can't make a go of it with the bigger aircraft, so these smaller regional airlines are stepping in, as we've done. The same as Air Chatham, same as Barrier, we've stepped in, and it makes sense. Why shouldn't we? And we should then be feeding passengers to the hubs in Wellington, Christchurch, Auckland, and they go on from there. But, in America, they have the essential air service. In Scandinavia, France, a lot of Europe, they all have the same thing. France, where there's a lot of train connectivity, they still support regional aviation because they know how critical it is to their country.